Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lelo and I have a reading for you today if you are interested. Today we're going to get into the topic, or we're going to channel some insights about the experience of maintaining or finding joy in a place of uncertainty, confusion and struggle in your life or in your journey. This is particularly for people who are embarking on a journey where they are the first to do it in their family, in their lineage, in generations, or in a way that nobody has done it before. So if you are embarking in a specifically new territory that many people will not understand and therefore means that you can't really receive guidance into it, this is a reading to channel how you may embark on this journey and still maintain joy even though you are struggling, confused, uncertain. You are challenged with facing the unknown, and therefore you largely only have yourself to rely on. I will be trying to enlighten both me and the collective on how to find joy and how to maintain joy and how to even go to the extent of finding love, maybe romantic or platonic or whatever love is comfortable to you and suits your journey. I want us to basically uplift ourselves with hope, optimism, and positivity in a journey that can often be quite isolating and even lead to a lot of struggles with mental health. So, obviously, as I've said in previous readings, I engage with this from the perspective of decolonialism, deconstruction, and dismantling the systems that we live under. So, I'm going to have that perspective kind of parallel or sitting alongside the insights that we can get from the channel. So I hope you enjoy. I'm not really one to like encourage people to subscribe or like or share. I think just take the message if you need it. You don't have to be loyal to me or whatever. But if you are interested in getting more of these readings, I will continue to upload as I feel called to channel. And then I would encourage you to subscribe if you feel like you are a collective or part of a collective that resonates with this energy. And I will also put in the description other places to get access to me, as well as how to book a reading and the prices that are charged for these readings. This will be in South African currency. If I so happen to be channeling from people from all over the world, I'm in South Africa, so I work with South African currency. But in any case, let's get into the reading, and I hope you enjoy this video. So, I just wanted to say before I channel, look at the cards that are at the bottom of the deck. We have the Hermit, which couldn't be more true for the experience that I'm channeling for this reading, which is being in a journey that nobody understands, that nobody will be able to guide you on. So you're basically alone. And more than that, you have to be the one that has the guiding light. I don't think this is like I could just end the channel here and say, yeah, that's the reading. And the second one from this deck is You're Not For Everyone, which says, embrace your weirdness, face your true north, which couldn't be more true. Let me see if you can see what it says. It couldn't be more true knowing that it came out, or it's at the bottom of the deck with the Hermit, which also shows this light that you have to use to find your way, embracing your intuition, embracing your ability to guide yourself. But let's get into the reading. Let me shuffle the cards. So I have these cards out already, and I had already started to try and channel, but I felt like I was getting messages muddled up a bit. But I'm realizing now that this message is particularly about what is happening for you now as you have gone through this journey of now realizing just how lonely it might be for you, how you're not necessarily alone in the sense there's nobody around you, but you're more so alone in the sense that you don't know anybody else who's going through a similar experience to you or as you. So it has been an uphill battle basically, and also interacting with people who don't see things the way that you do or don't see you the way that you want to be seen. You often then have to go through a long period of like defending yourself, defending your reputation, defending the choices that you make from other people who don't understand. Because a lot of the time, when somebody is a pioneer, when somebody is the first to do something in their generation, because it's so unusual, because it's so different, because it's so new, you can often be seen as crazy. You can often be seen as not being in your right mind because you're seeing things not in the way that you're supposed to, according to the status quo or the social norms that are imposed onto you by people around you, your family, your friends, your co-workers, the people at school, or by society at large. This is like a key theme of being in that journey alone. That, like, even though you might be isolated in terms of like the way that you see the world, and that like there aren't that many like-minded people around you, the people that happen to be around you often kind of antagonize you, or if they're not even doing it harmfully, their presence just kind of creates a blockage, um, where you feel like you have to defend yourself in some way, or you have to prove yourself even when things don't make sense. It's like because you don't make sense, because you're new, you're different, you're not really able to be understood, then there's something wrong with you. And you then have to keep proving over and over and over again that no, you're fine, or no, there isn't anything wrong, or no, you can do something with the things that you see, with the things that you know, with the things that you learn. It's not for nothing. You're not lazy, you're not uninspired on everything. Like, you just have to keep proving and proving and proving. And it gets tiring, because oftentimes then it leads you to losing friends, losing relationships. It leads you to stress, a lot of stress. And this is Ten of Swords. This is the Seven of Wands. With the Ten of Swords, the swords are a mental deck or suit, and it means then that a lot of this might have felt as if it's psychological torture, if it's felt as if it's a war field, or a war or a battlefield in your mind, where now you don't even know at some point what to believe. And you get to this point now where you're at currently, where you just feel so defeated that there's just so much that you've thought about doing, the things that you wanted, the things that you saw for your life, the things that you believe about yourself, that have been under such scrutiny by other people, even by yourself. You try to figure out what is wrong with me. Why do I feel called to this? Why am I passionate about this? Why am I so different? The thoughts, just overthinking, right? The card before this is the Nine of Swords, which is literally overthinking. Like, the message is overthinking, but after it, it is like you just then accepting defeat. Usually, other readers also see this card as an end of a cycle, because life often happens in cycles. But I don't necessarily see it as just the end of a cycle, because death is here, right? And the way that I see it, as well as the Six of Swords, and the way that I see it is almost as if it's the end of a long, long, long chapter in the book of your life, right? Where you've now come to the point where you have no more energy to use or expend in trying to either prove yourself, in trying to make sense of who you are and your place in the world, in trying to make sense of the world itself and why people treat you the way that they do. You've gotten to the end of that experience of really just fighting to be here, in the sense of fighting to be understood and accepted as you are in this reality, in this world. Death can either be the now change that occurs when you start to just accept that this is who you are, and you accept that people won't understand and people will be haters, and you accept that you can't change yourself, and so you rather change the circumstance, or rather that a change is going to happen when you become more comfortable in accepting who you are. This death, accompanied by this, often, or rather in this case, means literally that you are transitioning. Both of these, excuse me, both of these cards are cards of transition. Death would mean a drastic, fundamental transformation. And then the Six of Swords is about transitioning into a calmer state of mind. So that's why it's about being comfortable in accepting yourself and being at peace with who you are. Um, it has left you, this defeat has left you in a position of rest, right? Where it seems like a sort of isolation, but it's not necessarily. It's more so a recuperation, right? After just battling yourself battling yourself, battling other people, trying to gain a sense of stability within yourself, it's almost as if you're giving into that. You're transitioning into being more stable with who you are. Um, I also see this card as a card of preparation, where now that you have accepted who you are and you're allowing yourself to have space in the world, to take up space as you are, even if there's so much opposition, even if you might feel or go through periods of confusion and doubt and not being able to be certain or feeling foggy in terms of seeing what's ahead, you still you have more of a sense of stability, which is nice. Oh my gosh, I love this reading. This transition and you allowing yourself to not only rest and stabilize after you have gained all this knowledge about who you are and about how people see you, and then also just accepting that this is who you'll be for probably the rest of your life, and then just allowing yourself to be prepared to live life confronting it the way that you are. That stability that you achieve within yourself is going to be so evident. It's going to be so abundant or bring so much abundance. Like Nine of Pentacles and the Queen of Pentacles at the same time, the same reading. This is kind of you being not only more grounded and stable in the fact that you are just who you are and you want the things that you want and you see the world the way that you do, but it makes you more abundant and fertile for new connections, for the universe to then bring you into alignment with what actually serves you, with what actually makes you more fulfilled. And it's almost like a guarantee that you will be happy. Like Ten of Cups is ultimate emotional fulfillment. It is joy. It is happiness. Six of Cups is being given back to. You see how they also have the scales of justice over here. It's the universe saying, finally, we wanted this version, or rather, finally, now that you have embraced this person that we made you to be, we are then going to connect you to the people that are at your level, like minded people. We're going to put you in the spaces that allow you to show up fully as you are. And you are in a state of preparation for that, right? So this is looking to the horizon to see the expansion that is coming for you. And this is being conserving and saving your energy for kind of the uptick in movement, in engagement, in action that's going to happen. And it's not going to be fast, like too quick. This is the Knight of Pentacles talking about slow moving action, still creative, but more grounded. And there's a direct place that this Knight of Pentacles is heading towards. And it doesn't have to be fast, just so that it doesn't overwhelm you and you're able to then integrate safely and comfortably into this reality where you're now fully who you are. Because looking at this death card, right, you see that there's so much of like grim, scary, dark energy in the front, but right there at the back is the beautiful sun peeking out, which shows that this transformation and most transformations, no matter how scary it looks at the front, there's always something happening at the back that can, or behind the scenes in the background, that shows a brighter day coming into fruition. I couldn't channel this properly before because it's so many conflicting things happening. But I think this is just like the background of where you're at right now to tell you that you should believe yourself in what you know about who you are, and that if you feel like this is ultimately who you want to be, then you have to accept that you will face opposition because you are something nobody can really explain. And the same way people feel about ghosts, about aliens, about the supernatural, about mermaids and dragons and all these things that they don't understand. Most of these things are seen as what? Scary. You can use that analogy to yourself and to say, even if you don't try to be scary, because people don't understand these things, then they will see you like in a similar fashion that like you're scary and it's not your fault. It's not your fault, but it will make your life hard. And that's also not your fault. This is unfortunately a consequence of the systems that we're under, where anything that deviates from the norm, anything that doesn't make sense according to the status quo, will be considered a threat and will be considered something that ultimately should be forced to conform so that it can make people feel safe and comfortable, because people want predictable things. So when something is new and unforeseen, then it's not predictable. They don't know how to handle it. They don't know what to expect from it. And therefore, they don't know how to behave when it happens. And therefore, if it's you, there's all these ones against you, and you're the only one that has to fight. But ultimately, there's joy. And let's get into how we can find this joy happening for you because it's there, honey, sweetie, lover. It is there. The universe is giving it. And it'll bring you so much stability and abundance. And mind you, this is material, right? It has to happen physically because you underwent this dramatic change within yourself where it wasn't a change in terms of you becoming someone entirely different in the sense that this is not someone that you would become, but more so if you look at the person that you were when you were conforming and when you were even in this state of defending yourself, you were still trying to appease people around you. But now that you've accepted and you're embracing and you're allowing yourself this transition mentally at the very least, you are behaving or are setting up systems and foundations within yourself to behave different to what other people expect from you. And that behavior that's different will be reflected materially and physically. You might start making different decisions that you wouldn't have made before, even when you were defending yourself. Maybe, for an example, if you don't like your current job, right? And you were in this position where you're trying to tell people you don't like being there, you don't like working there. There's people who, or even at the job itself, there are people who constantly are trying to pick fights with you, who are telling you that you're doing things wrong. Like, you constantly have people randomly complaining about things that don't even make sense. Like, why are you so quiet? Why don't you smile? And then you just talk to other people who you're trying to vent to, trying to explain that you don't like working there. And you have to then also prove yourself to those people who you wanted to vent to. You know, instead of doing all of that, you then come to yourself and you say, fuck it. I don't like the job. I don't like the people who are making me feel bad about not liking my job. So I'm going to quit and I'm going to stop being friends with these people or stop venting to these people. And then instead of now, like, you can't go through the motions of like the defeat. But instead of now going to these people to vent, you just go for a spa day or spa weekend and you just pamper yourself. You see what I mean? That's the type of vibe. This is a decision you would never have made. You probably would have kept to yourself and tried to like think and overthink and try to explain to yourself or try to figure out if you're being gaslit or if you're gaslighting yourself, whatever. But instead of trying to even engage with any thoughts, you just say, you know what, let me just go and have a good day without any other interference, without any other opinion or influence. That's the mindset that you're now engaging with, and then it's going to be reflected in your physical reality with the people that you attract, with the places that you go to, with the spaces that you are now comfortable entering. So let's see how you can maintain the joy that you end up finding because it's there for you. It's there. It's literally at your door. It's waiting for you to see it, right? Um, because I want this to be more uplifting. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Especially if you're someone going through a journey where everything is new. Everything is new, not just for you, but for everyone else around you. It's going to be hard for you to make sense of how you can feel joy if it's not from the things that you were told to feel joy within. So, like, you don't feel joy within your job, you don't feel joy at home, you don't feel joy within your friend groups or within your relationships, you don't feel joy in the spaces that are supposed to be safe spaces for you, things like that. How then do you really find it if it seems like it's nowhere to be found? So, firstly, this means it's quick, it's fast moving. This energy that you're now going to be lifted by. right? I use this analogy of like being in the ocean. You will find more clarity of your path if you are surfing or swimming in the ocean. You will find better ease if you flow with the waves than if you try to swim against them or surf against them. You have to ride the wave. And when you do, it happens so much faster, the thing that you're trying to accomplish. So this is what this is talking about. The energy is coming in fast and hot. Ones are a fire dick, is coming in fast and hot. And even though you can still be in that Four of Swords preparation energy and still ride the wave as it is, because there's some way that you're gonna land, evidently or eventually, and that you riding the wave is preparing you for the place that you're gonna land at, which six of wands, my bad. Look at that. Success, achievement, victory. Like it just shows in the cards. This is like a great card to show up. Um, Again, we have the Ten of Cups. The universe just wants you to know, like, you are eventually going to get to that happiness. And we have the Empress. It doesn't matter what gender you identify with. The Empress is an energy, and this is like sensual, receptive, very fertile and abundant. How can I say this? The Queen of Pentacles is like a great alignment with this energy, but it's like the Queen of Pentacles on steroids. So like this is just energy that cannot be confused about who they are, and not only that, the groundedness that they have within themselves attracts, pulls everything in that they want. They were reconciling with this. So this is heartbreak. It shows, and this is a sense of conflict, right? Could be interpersonal, it could be internal, it could be conflicting beliefs, conflicting mindsets, or systems of knowledge, right? This is almost saying that you have to reconcile with this and maintain a sense of strength that allows you to realize that this is inevitable. There's no necessarily smooth sailing when it comes to living a life that is entirely new. Considering the systems that we're under, I mean, unfortunately and devastatingly, you get punished for not conforming to the status quo in very extreme and like fatal ways where you are literally killed, but then also in very like minute but still very heartbreaking ways where um you are kind of forced or coerced to make decisions that you know just don't align with you, and it causes that internal conflict. um a lot of the time, because you are doing something so new, because you're being someone so different, it is also because there's so much potential that's being highlighted, right? And this as well came out. I often see it as like tending to the seeds that you've planted, but in this context, it's almost like recognizing that the seeds you've planted are planted in fertile soil, right? And you are the soil that's so fertile, that's really abundant, right? And you're seeing this grow. And as you see this grow, you realize, oh my gosh, there's much more that is coming out than I even thought. That's something that makes you more threatening to these systems, where like, let's say you, before you embarked on this journey of self-discovery, spirituality, healing, deconstruction, you thought maybe that you would lead your life as a teacher, and so you studied teaching or education at varsity or whatever, and then you started to realize that you want to start being more authentic to yourself. So as you went through this journey, you then saw, oh no, I actually do not want to become a teacher. But when you're starting to plant these new seeds of where your path is taking you, where you are seeing yourself headed, this card came out again. Where you see yourself headed, you thought, okay, you'd still be able to do something that Like, it's basically what I'm saying is that you recognize much more power that you have in embracing your authenticity than before, when you just thought that your life is taking a different direction, right? So, like with the teacher analogy, you started planting seeds where you embraced your creativity. Maybe you actually are a singer, right? So then you started saying, okay, let me practice my vocals, let me do covers for social media, let me go do gigs where I'm singing as a backup singer. And then you started to realize that actually I do like to write my own songs. And so you started writing songs, and then you performed songs that you wrote, or you recorded some, or you were just singing them on social media, and then people started liking it. And then it goes further. Actually, I like dancing. I'm actually a good dancer. So you planted these seeds thinking, okay, maybe I'm just going to be singing. But now you're a writer, you're a singer, you're a performer, a dancer, and you've now attracted so much more abundance and power and strength from what you thought would just be one path. You become more expansive, you gain much more success, right? This is just an example. I'm saying all of that to say this system unfortunately does not encourage that, because then when the power is in your hands, or when you realize you have much more power to at least influence people to then embrace themselves and their power, it does all it can to target you in ways that you don't even think are the system. Like, a lot of people who internalize the system become the system that you like, become the people who fight you as the system. Because there are structures in place, right? But oftentimes it's people themselves who behave as if they themselves are the system, and that they're not separated from it. And you will find it in people who are haters. Haters are everywhere. There are people who literally make it their life's mission to hate, and in a like miserable way, not even in a like at least a hating in terms of quality, because there are certain standards that are appreciated when people do certain types of work or art or whatever. But haters who just hate, especially if you're different. There are people who put in barriers intentionally. If you're, let's say, a marginalized person, if you want to be in the film or arts industry or creative industry in South Africa, you have to have money. You have to know the right people. You have to have a certain level of knowledge. And a lot of these things, a lot of the knowledge has to be from specific resources accredited by whoever. A lot of these things are not attainable to the general public, you know? There are those barriers intentionally put by the system so that they can gatekeep wealth and gatekeep success and honor and all those things. But it doesn't stop, especially with the advent of like TikTok, it hasn't stopped regular people from being able to gain the visibility and the success that they honestly do deserve from nurturing themselves in their authenticity and planting these seeds that sprout into so much more creativity than they realize. Your joy is in you. I don't know how more specific I can get. It's like the way that it's coming up is literally that you have to be yourself. There's a certain level of strategizing, right? A particular type of logic that can help you in navigating how to find it, changing, or rather adjusting your beliefs about yourself, about the world, about how to gain resources, about how to make a plan. You know, looking forward to your life, but in a more strategic way. And then also being like the King of Swords is a mental, but it's like having a mental fortitude, like having mental skills, capabilities that allow you to kind of be precise with action, be precise with what you say, be precise, right? Like, that's why the sword is there, to mold and cut through with very like straight, lines. So on the one hand, it's the strategy, being precise about where you're headed, how you know exactly what you want, being driven about it. But then the other side is also being able to express their truth with no filter. And that doesn't mean being rude or being blunt in a way that doesn't have compassion. It just means that you aren't afraid to say the meat and bones of the story that is your truth, right? You aren't afraid to say it directly. Yeah, the King of Swords is about being direct. It's about being truthful and honest in a way that doesn't sugarcoat, in a way that doesn't neglect your that doesn't neglect reality. There can be a sense of joy found in that, in knowing that you are capable of advocating for yourself in such an expansive way, with having the right strategy that accommodates who you are, and then also knowing how to say what you need directly. This helps you a lot in asking for help. You say it directly, like, I struggle with this, I've been attacked by this, or I've faced these barriers, and it makes me cry at night. It makes me feel like I want to unalive myself. And I'm frustrated a little bit by this reading because I want to tell you directly how to get joy in such things, but it's often a thing of the joy should be able to be found in the experience rather than like saying, because I can't actually tell you what makes you happy, right? It's about you. It's you that you have to be happy with. And you don't have to be happy in the way of, I think happiness and joy are not the same. But like, it's you that creates your joy, right? Cultivating in terms of literally like watering the garden, planting the seeds, checking up on them. You have to see yourself as a garden, and cultivating joy doesn't mean that it's easy all the time and that you will see the fruits of your labor all the time, but it is about being happy that you're capable of doing that. Before you couldn't. You know what I mean? As hard as it is, before you didn't see this as possible, before you were in such a level of devastation that you didn't know that right after this would come this. The joy is found in knowing that there is an outcome that you can get, but the outcome is not the only thing that you can be happy about. You can be genuinely joyful about the fact that you're doing something nobody has ever been able to accomplish, and yet here you are alive and making it work for you because it's literally just about you. I'm gonna pick up cards one more time. I'm gonna take out less cards this time to see if they can actually tell me, spirit, like actual ways to find joy, because all they will say is be yourself, be who you are. Oh my gosh, calm down, girl. Hold on. Wait. Spirit, please, how can the collective find joy? Give us tangible, real words or things that they can use. Right. Now we're working on something. Hold on. I'm just gonna take one more so that I can get to. Thank you. Okay. And then I'm gonna shuffle the oracle. Hold on. This was a little bit of a chaotic reading. I thought I would have a smoother ride with this, but yeah. I love these oracle cards because I know spirit is spying on me and like is literally listening to everything I say. Because tell me why this girlie came out. Surrender to the sweetness, make love to life. What? Yeah, make love to life. Okay, the hermit, which was present in the beginning of the reading, at the bottom of the deck, which I said is totally relevant to what I'm talking about. At the end of the day, at the end of the day, it's gonna be the end of the day. Watch this. We have the hermit, the nine of cups, self-fulfillment. We have the eight of cups, which is about leaving things or places that do not serve you. And then we have the king of wands, right? We also have the wheel of fortune, which I'll get to, but I want to talk about these together. There's only one person in here, only one person in here only one person in here, only one person in here. Who do you think that person is? if they don't, if the places or people or spaces or situations that you're in do not serve you, and even if you feel trapped, you can get out. That's where your joy will be. If you feel trapped, then you're not in a place where there's joy. Sincerely. And it's hard. I know it's hard. Trust me, I know. I know that if you feel trapped, then it's likely not your fault. It's likely not even you that's doing it to yourself. But you can escape. You can leave. Even if it's mentally or spiritually. Even if you just detach emotionally and you don't allow that place to have a certain control or power over the decisions that you make, over how you feel about yourself, over how you see the world, then that's like the first step or the first few steps or the beginning of a new way of being. Unfortunately, most of it is going to be alone. It doesn't have to be lonely in the sense of there's no community, but you're the only you, and so you should be fulfilled with you. That joy is going to come from you being fulfilled within you. And then lastly, this King of Wands is about having the determination to go after what you want, having the passion or going after your passions or being passionate about your life. It's about passion, it's about fire and fierceness, it's about direction and being driven and ambition, right? This doesn't mean you have to be like go getter, hustler. Abolish hustle culture, abolish grinding. We're not grinding over here. We're loving, we're healing, number one, and we're being compassionate in our ability to go after what we want. If what you want is to do nothing, please like let yourself feel how that feels. It will be new, scary, and uncomfortable to you, but you want it, don't you? Try it. And if you face the opposition, my best advice would be try not to internalize it, right? Work through, because with this card, we also have deep cellular healing, physical and emotional healing. This is the space where we would have to now think, can I allow myself to believe what this person is saying about me, even though they're either a person that I wouldn't take life advice from because I don't want to live their life, or they have no idea what it feels like to be me, and so they will not understand why this action makes sense for me, right? And then try to heal that part of you that has definitely been broken by the system, by the people, by the places. And obviously, it's not going to just be a singular effort. This will require collective effort. Like healing does not, should not be isolated. But in that moment, if it's just you and the opposition, and they're telling you, like, if you decide to do nothing after being burnt out from work, and they're telling you you're so lazy, you don't want to like feed us or help us get the money that we need to be alive and all that, and they're just coming at you, judging you, shaming you, making you feel broken inside. Try not to internalize that. Maybe picture yourself having a barrier where these words can come, but they don't penetrate your soul. And then you start to see that these people can just say all these things because they're afraid of you being you. They're afraid of you being different. They're afraid of the possibility that you bring up within their space that like you can actually do what you want or you can do something different. Because a lot of the time people fear newness because then they have to confront why they are doing things the same. You can be questioned as to why are you being so different, but you can also question them and ask, why are you doing things the same? Why aren't you thinking about doing it differently? Why aren't you questioning yourself about why you keep relying on being told what to do? Pluck it. But anyway, I like these cards. These cards listen to me. Every time I pull from this oracle deck, it's as if she's just saying, and here's a summary of what our Lelo, our beautiful Lelo goddess, was telling y'all. Deep cellular healing. Cool, 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 cool. Water your garden. Water your garden. Nourishment, body care, tenderness, rest. What did I say? Double mission, light worker starseed, serve the world by being you. Plug it. I didn't I didn't get called to this reading for nothing. Baby steps. Action: follow your intuition before it makes sense. And I already showed you the other one: surrender to the sweetness, Venus energy, make love to life, pleasure, joy. See, I talk about joy, but yeah, the I can't tell you where your joy lies because I have no idea who the hell you are. But we have to know that this is something that the universe wants for you just as much as you do. The girlies, the universe said with the cards, it said, girlie, we here, follow the wave. We're uplifting you into your joy. You can get out. You can get out. Even though it's this hermit is more like a you thing versus a loneliness thing. It could also mean that you are a person that enjoys solitude and you prefer your alone time, and that's completely great. You know, if that's you and that's your joy, follow that too. It's okay if you know that you feel pressure to be around people or friends, or you feel like maybe you're in like a people pleasing state of being, and you actually prefer to be alone, but you do it, you hang out with people because you think that would make them feel better. What about you? What is your joy? If you want to be alone, you can. Um, but I think for this particular one, especially with regards to serve the world by being you, you do have a journey that only you can take. Nobody ever in history has done it, and nobody will ever do it. Not like you. Even if you say you want to be an artist and a painter, nobody's gonna do it like you. And you are in this position with the wheel of fortune that like you are guided by the elements, by the energies surrounding you, even if you don't know, through your intuition. It's not going to make sense because it won't make sense to anybody, not even you, because nobody has done it before. So how do they know what it means? Water your garden and surrender to the sweetness. It's like when I talked about the wave, right? Where the ocean has the waves and you can't swim against the current. That's the surrendering. You surrender to the current and then it takes you where you need to go. I enjoyed this reading because it's a reading for me as well. Because, yeah, I know that I mean, look at me. Firstly, I'm not normal. And I have not had a problem with that. I have always had a problem with others having a problem with it and then making it my problem. See, like I don't have a problem. Oops, I don't have a problem. They have a problem, and then they make it my problem. So now I have a problem with them having a problem. Do you get the problem? Yeah. But yeah, follow your joy in terms of just follow you. You are your joy. Only you can feel what makes you feel joy. Only you know that, how that feels. And that feeling is real. No matter what people tell you, if it doesn't make sense, that's because they don't get it. And the girls that get it, get it. You get it. So go get it, girl. I don't know. I thought I was going to give you tangible steps, like to say, meditate, go, whatever. I have no idea who you are. Maybe you don't even need to meditate. Maybe you're not even stressed out for real. It's literally just because of other people. Maybe if you had the things that you needed, or if you were at least supported by people around you, you wouldn't be feeling half of the terrible, difficult emotions that you're feeling. And maybe you should allow yourself to think about that. What if it's really not you? But it's also you at the same time. You know what it is? It's like it's not you in the sense that you're not making yourself feel terrible, but it is you because it's like it's a response by the environment or by people to you. There's nothing wrong with you. There's also kind of nothing wrong with the people around you unless they are actively harming you, which baby girl, get out, right? But it's not compatible. Big fish, small pond. A shark in a fish tank. Um, water and oil. You're not mixing. You're not mixing. It's but go get your joy, and I hope that you feel so much more accepting of yourself and the joy because this is the joy is healing you just as much as you know embracing the pain and the difficulty. Everything is healing because it's finding yourself. That is the ultimate healing that you're gonna get. And that deconstruction journey requires so much of that healing. Previously, I was doing a reading about grief. in the deconstruction journey. But now also joy is necessary, also love and pleasure and play, because what the system wants from you is to work, 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 and then act like you don't deserve anything else. And then when you work, 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 and you don't even get the results or reap the rewards of working that hard, then you should feel like you deserve all that. So they take all of your humanity away and make you a machine. You're not a machine. So when you deconstruct and you find yourself, or when you go to on a self discovery journey, you discover all the pain and the grief and the sorrow and the, even the darkness, and you discover all the lights, the joy, the love, the pleasure, and you put it all together and you make you, and you find yourself just like a complete human being, no matter the imperfections or the flaws that you have. I don't believe in flaws or imperfections, because flaws um necessitates or means that there's something that's fully perfect, and that doesn't make sense. But everything that makes you hate yourself, but also makes you love yourself, makes you yourself. And the joy can be found in nourishing and nurturing that you are a complete human being regardless, and you've always been one, and you'll always be one, no matter the flaws you supposedly have. You are a once in a lifetime person. Nobody is going to get to experience the way you experience life ever again. You are a rare experience. You are like finding a needle in a haystack. So many people are trying to be the same or trying to conform, and you just can't. And that can be a gift in as much as it's a curse. The gift is just you have treasure of a life experience that nobody else will ever know. Like, in the very literal sense, the feelings that you feel, the way that you move, the things that you think, nobody else ever will know how that feels. You can enjoy that. It's a breath of fresh air. It's a spark of color and light in darkness. It's a glimmer of hope into a future of new newness in humanity. And you can enjoy that. And you can have pride in that. And you can love that. And I hope that you do. That is the reading for today. If you resonated, I really hope I helped, because I thought I would be able to give you something better. But I think there's a shift. With all these shifts happening, I genuinely think that there's so much love around the corner for people who never thought they would ever feel love, community, and joy. And I hope you're prepared for that. Just as much as you prepare for the pain and disappointment, allow yourself to prepare for the entire opposite. You'll be surprised. Sometimes they can be scary, the surprises, but allow yourself to be healed by love. That's all. Um, I'll link more information, more places to see me in my description box. And if you want to book a reading, you'll find the information in the description box. I love you so much. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, wherever you are and whoever you are. Goodbye.